Good evening. This is Tuesday, August 2nd. That's right. Meeting of the Community Preservation Act Committee. As a preliminary matter, please note that this meeting is being recorded and some of the attendees are participating by remote video conference. Accordingly, please be aware. Folks may be able to see you. Anything you decide to screen share or on your computer or anything you broadcast will be captured and recorded. I'm Tim Wheeler, and permit me to confirm that all members are present. And so Carolyn McDonald.
Here.
MJ.
Present, but not all here.
Eloise.
Yay.
And with a quorum of the committee present, I will call the meeting to order at 7:20. The open meeting of the Community Preservation Act is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020. God, that's a long time ago, isn't it? Due to the current state of emergency. The governor's order suspends the requirement of open meeting law to have all meetings held in a publicly accessible physical location, allows and encourages us to participate remotely. For this meeting, Community Preservation Act Committee is using the Zoom platform. Please speak clearly so accurate minutes are recorded. Each vote in the meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. Thank you very much. All right. Nice. And why don't we start just by, everybody can introduce themselves. I know Maureen knows Eloise certainly, but I don't, have you met Caroline?
Well,
We were chatting just now.
Yeah, so
we've known each other for about a half hour.
yeah. So why don't you introduce yourselves, you, Carolyn and MJ and Eloise, and then Maureen can tell us a little bit about herself too, because this is a transitional moment.
It is. So Maureen, I'm on CPA as a representative for the Conservation Commission. I've lived in town for about 20 years now, which makes me a newbie. And I also sit on the planning board and hang out with Tim when I can.
And MJ?
I'm one of the select board appointees, not here from a committee, though I am chair of the Cultural Council. I started in town in '84, but then was away for many years. So back in town for 7 years, so, or 8 or something like that. So more of a newbie, though. I sometimes think of, I'm not sure if I've been here as long as I moved back into town when I first started in town, or with my grandparents' story. Sometimes I feel like I've been in town since 1960. Of course, I'm not in town at the moment because I manage a convenience store in Concord, and background.
Thank you. And Eloise?
I've been in town for 40 plus years. I am town clerk. I'm on the Energy Committee. I'm on the health insurance for the town.
Housing Partnership.
Oh yeah, I forgot the Housing Partnership. I've been on there since 2000.
Right. And actually, you're a representative of the Housing Partnership for this commission, right?
I am truly special.
Well,
Yes.
we know that.
We certainly know that. I'm Tim. I've been on the planning board for a while, and I'm the planning board's rep to the Regional Planning Commission. And I'm the planning board's rep to, no, I guess I'm not really the rep. I'm the town's rep to the Assabet Regional Housing Collaborative. Yeah. And I've been in town forever. I was born here.
And only on the planning board for slightly less than forever.
Yeah, actually, my when was 81? I got on in 81. I got off for a year though, so it hasn't been a complete cycle. So Maureen, tell us about yourself.
Okay, so Maureen Adama, I live in Littleton, Mass. I'm also a newbie here. We'll be here 19 years this month, actually, by way of San Diego, although I did grow up in New England and headed out there after I got my associate's degree to finish up some school out at San Diego State. I fell into municipal work kind of quite by accident, but ended up falling in love with it, starting in my hometown back in 2006 in land use. And I've supported many, many boards. Started out with, ZBA, done Park Commission, Historic Commission. I actually was a member on the Historic Commission here in my hometown. Also was on the Board of Assessors here in my hometown, so have definitely a lot of service. My next step in hometown service is going to be working with in the elections. Going to try to be one of the mainstays for the pre-election day kind of stuff, like those Fridays and Saturdays where you can come in and do early voting. Found this job kind of by accident. Got a referral from a friend that you were looking for 6 hours, but then actually found the assessor's position, applied for that during the interviews, made mention I had saw this and that I was actually interested in this, and here I be. So I'm happy to be along. Yeah. It's a nice town. I have to say all the employees are very, very nice. It's very, very nice. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, then that was serendipitous in a way, the fact that your friend said, hey, there's a CPA opening, and you ended up being scooped up by the assessors, which of course was fantastic for the town, so.
Yeah.
We've got one bill. The Community Preservation Consortium for $1,750, our annual dues. We paid it last year late, but we got the bill in the mail just the other day, so we're going to be timely this time around. It comes out of our administrative funds, and it supports the consortium's work to support us. So if we have a motion to pay that bill.
I move that we pay that bill.
In a
I
second,
second.
and we'll do a roll call on that. So Eloise,
Yes,
MJ,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Aye.
Tim, I. So that's unanimous. And I gave Maureen the invoice, and she filled out the, we put the information on the warrant for signatures there. So I know Eloise can scoot down and find Maureen and sign it sometime. Is Carolyn and MJ, are you likely to be in the town offices sometime in the next week or two?
I'll be there tomorrow night for a conservation meeting. Is there a place, we used to leave stuff in the old mailroom.
So,
But-
Tim, I was actually thinking about this driving home. You know how we're going to set up the files and the planning? Why
Right.
don't I make a, like I'll put like in a blue folder and I'll say need signatures here.
Yep.
Inside that file. And then and then on the other side of that, I can also put like the agenda or anything that anybody wants scanned and put into the meeting packets for the next
Yep.
thing. So it'll be like an active file, because that room's always left open. It's not closed at night, is it?
I don't believe so. So what we're talking about is in the file room at the end of the hall on the left.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There are those big files that are standing in the middle of the room that the school committee had. And the planning board is labeled the tops of those. And we've got, round rolls of file in the top drawers. And then we've used a couple drawers below that, but there's 3 drawers on the left, on the right-hand side of that group. And Maureen and I were looking at those and saying, we can just scoop these lower three because the planning board isn't going to use them. And we'll start with the middle, what is it? Are there 5? 1, 2. Well, she's going to mark one that says Community Preservation Act. And then in that will be the folder that if you're going to
Perfect.
use the blue one, you know, that we can all.
I think they'll
go
do
in and
blue
just-
and it will say signatures required and.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's great.
I like that.
All right.
And she has the key to our mailbox, so she's gonna be grabbing mail and minutes. Okay, so that we paid the bill, that's taken care of. We can talk about some other housekeeping stuff. That's a good way for us to get signatures. She'll do the minutes and those will be sent around. We were talking today, usually like on a Thursday before we're going to meet the following week. She would put together a packet of whatever materials are appropriate for the meeting. So the minutes, certainly, any bills, anything that's been submitted as a proposal or any updated proposals. June usually sticks on a monthly basis our budget information into the mailbox. And that's certainly something that could be scanned and then forwarded around to us before meetings. So we'd have all that up-to-date information about what's in our budget. And then since most of us don't understand how to interpret what we get from June, Maureen will understand it and then be able to explain it to us.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
know
That
it.
will be fabulous.
Because sometimes when I look at those and it says minus, you have, I'm looking at some of these and I get to the bottom and I think, I'm not sure I understand how much is actually here.
Right.
But because she's just a door down or 2 doors down, 1 door down, right, from June? Yeah. So this is going to be an ideal situation for us to be able to keep track of budget information.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because more than one meeting, you've had the numbers. And by the end of the meeting, we're really no further along
Right.
in knowing
Yep.
than we were at the beginning.
So what else did we talk about in terms of structure, Maureen? That was in terms of meetings, that was the key thing. We want to talk about scheduling here a little bit, but informationally,
Yep, so let's see. Well, we do, you all can, definitely give me feedback on what does and doesn't work for you. One thing that I always try to do as an admin is not pepper you with different, bunch of emails. Like you should really have the expectation that you're going to get one packet, hopefully on that Thursday. I would note on the email if we were pending and waiting for something, so for you to look for something else if something was to come. But there's nothing worse than think you have everything on Tuesday and then something comes in on Thursday and a member didn't need it. And then the other big takeaway from our meeting today was that filing for September, Tim.
yep.
Yeah, but I think you covered everything else as far as the procedures go. We got where the files are going to be. I'll get the mail. The other thing, my plan is to be accessible to you all and the community on Wednesday afternoons. So I'm done in the assessor's office at 2:15 and I'll stay, till 4 or whatever. Tim's given me a couple of other little projects, but that will be kind of like my day that's committed to you guys so that there isn't any overlap with the assessors and that kind of thing. So Wednesdays, 2:15, I'm all yours and your meetings, of course. Yeah.
And then when we figure out how to put that information on the website, yeah, we can have that clearly stated that if somebody wants to speak specifically to you about something.
Right.
Yep.
And that Wednesday will work well, Tim, because then if there's an agenda that's being drafted,
Right.
I'll be able to, like, if I've had things come in, I can shoot that to you off that Wednesday afternoon for you to review, but with hopes that we would have everything pulled together for Thursday so that you'd have enough time, either myself or you, to post with the
Yep.
clerk. So it's all about the chain, the timeline kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so you definitely need access to My Town Government
Yep.
sooner than not, because she can also post the meetings.
Right.
Right.
And that's, if she's doing that Wednesday afternoons, then we know we're going to be legal that next week and
Right.
everything will flow. So that'll work out. We talked about the plan, and the plan needs to be, my recollection is the plan needs to be updated on an annual basis, and we need to hold a public hearing when we finish the product and are going to approve it.
Right.
And I'm going to check that again, but that's, for some reason, because Maureen and I also talked about what Groton does. Groton holds a public hearing whenever they meet to approve plans. We didn't do that. And you're not required to do that, but it was something that I thought it would be valuable for us to chat about. Not necessarily tonight at any great length, but it's something to think about, and we can chat about it some more the next time we meet. But making the presenters, and in our conversation about what plans to approve, part of a public hearing rather than just a simple meeting of the committee without notice to the public.
Without notice in the newspaper.
Yeah, so you'd put it in the newspaper and, give 2 weeks notice that you're going to have a public hearing on such and such a date, and the CPA was going to review the finalized submissions for approval for, putting on the warrant, and we will take any public comment. So that way we really solicit that public interaction and become a little more transparent. So
Yeah,
that's
and
something to chat about.
Right. Oh, Eloise has her hand up.
When you get submissions, I would like them to be put on My Town Government, because John Q. Public should be able to see them before we vote on them.
Yep.
Well, sometimes that has been lacking.
Right.
So they could be on My Town Government and on our website as well.
If we have, so Eloise, are we still lacking an admin for the town website?
To the best of my knowledge, yes. Although I believe Mary does some of it, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
Right.
Maureen, in order to get you up on My Town Government, could you send me all your contact information as an email?
Sure.
And if you're already on with one email or a phone number, the site doesn't like to let you on with the same number.
Right.
Because it keeps track of who makes any changes.
Huh. So you'll set her up to be on My Town Government with a password to get into Community Preservation Act?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Actually, your son will.
Well, good luck.
He is a
Um,
computer whiz.
He didn't solve my problem today, but anyway.
Yeah, well,
Right. So,
So-
but he doesn't have the ability to modify the town website. True?
he may, I don't, and I don't want it, so
Well, at least we get started with my town government.
right.
And then Maureen, if you, probably you can just ask Mary and say, how do I get access to the Community Preservation Act site? And I'll check my records. I may very well have something from Tom Galvin way back. But I haven't been going on it to change anything, so it may never have happened. So that's the website. And then, yeah, this makes it far more transparent if we've got information that we want to be sharing. Eloise, do you still have your hand up, or is that just,
I would just ask that you do the same for both the planning board and conservation.
oh, yeah, sure, right. I have no authority there.
You're a member.
Carolyn
you.
can take care of theirs.
I wanted to share it so that Carolyn wouldn't think I was just picking on her.
Yeah,
Thank you, Eloise.
You're welcome.
And so what am I doing? What would you like me to do?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Specific, I think I zoned out there for a minute because I'm not entirely clear what you would like conservation to do.
When you know something is coming before your board, make sure it's on your agenda. If it's a map or a document, it should be on the town's web.
Oh, okay. On my town government.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Gotcha.
I have to keep the Attorney General happy.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
when Maureen and I went through the budget today, when we looked at the articles that we passed in May, it appeared as though there's somewhere around 340,000 in the budgeted reserve account still. There's a small amount left in the Historic Commission's account from 2023. This is the fiscal year we're in now. The housing portion should be somewhere around 150,000 now. Maybe only 145 or 140, but so there's a significant amount of money in that one. And then in the case of conservation, we pulled some of the 23 money. So there's some left in that account for 23. But the bulk of our funds are still in the budgeted reserve.
Right.
And again, what we got from June most recently didn't detail what was going on with housing, conservation, or historical. And so Maureen was going to chat with them and just get a bigger spreadsheet with more of that information. So when we meet again, we'd have a clearer idea of what was available, because Julie has asked that question frequently. So right now, the only proposal we have is Carl's and the Ag Commission's for somewhere around 40,000. And I'll reach out to them and ask if they need to update the figures for that proposal or whether they want it to stand the way it is.
My guess would be, it would be a good idea to get an updated quote, just because everything has gone up so much in the past year.
Yeah. Now, have you talked to Julie about their proposal for tennis courts?
I have not.
So my suspicion is that the figure that they asked for isn't sufficient.
I believe I heard that.
So I'll ask them. I'll ask her to get rec to update that situation for our next meeting. So we'll get an update from rec. We'll get Carl's proposal. I suppose it would be helpful if we had someone from Historical Commission get together with us to update us on the status of their proposal, because they've got the 200,000, but they're working with an architect now, which was part of the stipulation, and giving them the money that they'd begin to develop a plan so they could submit to the state for the matching money. So that maybe I could get June to chime in. And then maybe we'll ask that she get appointed by that committee to be their representative, so we end up with someone, a sixth member, and then we can continue to try to search for another at-large member. Good.
That would be good, yep. I can post on Facebook if you like, that the CPA Commission is looking for an at-large member.
Yeah.
Okay. Umbrella Neighbors Connect.
Does that make sense, MJ and Eloise?
Yes.
Yeah.
Refer them to the selectmen.
Okay.
Yeah. Now we also talked about scheduling. MJ, when are you the freest?
Wednesday is when I'm the freest.
So if we were to do the Wednesdays, the second and fourth Wednesday, either one of those would work for you, and neither one of those works for you, Carolyn.
Yes,
But it means Eloise is in her office.
right.
And what about the time we meet? Do you want to meet earlier?
I work until 5.
Anytime works for me.
So
Eloise, does 6 work better for you than 7?
Yes.
I mean, usually our meetings are only about an hour. We
Right.
get into the thick of it with some of this other stuff, but if Maureen, 6 would work for you? So if we were to do 6,
Double
And
check
now-
with Julie before you cast it.
right.
well, yeah, but I'm trying to accommodate, I mean, you're gonna be sitting in the clerk's office at 7.
Not alone.
Yeah. All right, so we'll check with Julie and I mean, with sports and all, her schedule tends to jump around quite a bit. But what we were talking about was trying to be more predictable about when we might meet. So we all had it in our heads that, it was going to be certain number of days over the course of 2 months, perhaps, when we're in the thick of reviewing and approving. And then other times we just go for a long stretch without any meeting at all. But I'll check with Julie to see if Wednesdays are taboo. Because if Wednesdays would work for her, I mean, you're right, Eloise, 6 may be stretching it, but we'll try. So what else?
I don't know. I'm posting this right on Facebook right now. Are we a committee or a commission?
Committee. So we said that we would introduce Maureen, we'd review any proposed CPA projects for consideration and a possible 20. So, and in payment of community preservation consortium dues and other timely matters. So that was the topics we had on the agenda. But I think we've got some good possibilities here. We figured out a way to get things signed. We've got a file. We've got access to someone who can have access to the budget people. We've got a way to keep our website up to date, possibly. We've got my town government figured out.
You might want to ask June if you can go to a single signature on the expense warrant.
Now, what have you ever tried to do that, Carolyn?
No, I didn't even know it was a thing.
I mean, the
Oh,
plan,
actually, I guess that's not true. It's up to a certain dollar amount. It's like up to $1,500 or something like that.
you've got that set up with her, or you
Yeah.
could set it up?
No,
You
we do. Yeah, because John Aney had it set up and then when I became chair again, we switched it over to me.
And so do you do that? Or you haven't set it up?
I have it set up for conservation, but I don't have it set because conservation, we had to vote to give
Right.
me authority to sign for up to a certain dollar amount.
And you
Yeah.
think it was 1,500?
I think so, yeah.
And
I
then
have to ask
next
about that for
meeting,
cultural council.
Yeah, we should do that for planning too, actually.
Planning board, that would make life so much easier.
Yeah,
Now, most everything we pay in our budget is
bigger stuff.
bigger,
Yeah.
so. Maureen, the other thing that it would be good to chat with you, how are we, your time is being reported to me, and then I sign something and give it to June?
So what would probably happen is I'd put my time slip in that signature spot and then you would sign it, or it sounds like you also have the opportunity to do a designee if there is somebody that's always there able to sign and the commission votes on it. But like with the assessors, Molly will bring like 2 weeks of payroll in and Kevin signs it. And then we have them in the office and we just make adjustments if we have to, like say, I don't know, like say I left early and I was using some comp time or something like that, we would just put that in. But June's making up a timesheet for me that you would be signing.
She's doing that,
Yeah, June's on that already, yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
And so you'd fill that out and then I'd sign that, and, but right now it looks like everybody needs to sign it, but if we were to make a motion and approve it tonight we can try to pull this off with June. If we want to appoint me as someone who can sign for anything under $1,500, we can try to push that through with June. Because that would make life easier in terms of the payroll stuff. And then there are some miscellaneous things.
I think the payroll is just the chair anyways.
It
across
is,
the-
Right.
really.
Yeah,
You don't need to have everybody sign it, but
And that's what you do with conservation for your
Yep.
agent?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
but it does have to be an in-person signature. I get to see Maddie every week. I feel bad for her. She usually, unfortunately, she lives close by and she just swings by the house on the weekends, but it is every week.
and I think if I'm not mistaken, they love to have payroll in. So if you did meet on Wednesdays, that would be almost perfect, at least for that one. I think they like to have it in on that Thursday, Friday, but it can go as long as Monday at 9 o'clock.
Right, Monday morning at 9 a.m.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if my schedule's flexible, so that's no big deal. Good. Okay,
So did you want me to ask June before you make the motion, or did you want to make the motion?
no, let's go ahead and make it.
Oh, it's
Does
okay.
someone want to make a motion that Tim be authorized to sign for the committee on any budget item
Right, there is a stipulation,
approved by the committee that's less than 1,500?
but then you do have to include it. You have to let everybody know at the next meeting that you did it.
Well, okay, so in terms of payroll, I would just be doing that, but
Right.
I'm allowed to do that.
Right,
In
so,
terms of other
right, because
budget
you're the
items,
chair. Right,
other budget items, I wouldn't sign for the committee unless the committee approved it.
you can sign ahead of time, like if we need, let's say if we're not meeting that often and we need to post something in the newspaper.
Right?
You can sign to authorize payment of that. And then at the next meeting, say, oh, by the way, we paid $600 to Gatehouse Media.
Okay.
Yeah.
My impression is that, well, of course, what happens is that we get the bill from Gatehouse after we've done everything.
Right,
And then we wouldn't be meeting because everything would be transacted, and I'd be sitting there saying, when do we meet again? So you're right. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. so I will make the motion that we empower Mr. Tim Wheeler with
You're right.
the authority to sign for the group up to $1,500.
I second that motion to empower Mr. Tim Wheeler.
Any discussion? All right, so we'll do a roll call on this. Eloise,
Yes,
MJ,
Yes,
Carolyn,
Aye.
Tim, I. Good. Boy, we're learning a lot tonight, aren't we?
I know.
You'd think I just arrived in town. What else? That puts us in pretty good shape, doesn't it?
I think so, yeah.
The next meeting date. Any ideas?
Next meeting date. How soon do you think we need to meet again?
Well, if rec really wants to push on something, we probably should try to meet at the end of August. If anybody's going to be around.
So I've got August 31st available. We have 5 Wednesdays in August.
And so MJ, that would work for you, and I'll check with
Yeah.
Julie. So Maureen, you said you
Ooh,
were-
when does school start?
I believe September 6th,
Oh,
Oh,
really?
nice.
After Labor Day this year?
Wow.
same day as the state primary.
Maureen, you're going away, but you'll be back by then?
I'm here then, no problem. Yep.
So we're tentatively scheduling August 31st at 6. And I'll check with Julie about that and see if that works. So I'm gonna contact Carl. I'm gonna contact June. And I'm gonna contact Julie.
And I did post the at-large seat on Facebook.
Good.
So that's done. And Maureen, I did send the minutes to you. So that should be all set.
So Tim, then the only question I have, that filing for September 15th to the state, is that something that June does from?
So there's a CP1, CP2, and CP3, and I think that we have to do CP3. So let me do some research on that. You can talk to June about 1 and 2, and she may know something about 3 also. But I'll do some research, and then why don't we try to get together next week? Depending on what I find out, I'll send you an email saying, how about Wednesday at whatever, 2:30, and then if I'll figure out what CP3 is, and then we'll make sure we get it squared away. And then the next time we meet, I guess what we should ask is that the different constituents, so we'll get June and Julie and Carolyn and Eloise to review what's part of the plan right now for their respective areas of interest. So just review that section of the plan that you deal with and ask yourself whether there's any language change we needed to make.
Is this for a proposal? I mean, housing hasn't done anything.
No, it's just,
The CPA plan.
the big CPA plan that we did.
Oh, the
We have-
overall?
We're supposed to update that on an annual basis. At least that's my
Okay.
understanding still. So,
I will ask my housing partnership members.
yeah. Update plan. I'll check that out too.
And
I'll
you'll
call.
talk to Julie about the rec portion?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll talk to June about historic. Great. We all set?
I believe we are. Should I
Thanks,
come-
Maureen.
I
Boy,
may.
do we all, look
Wait,
at
wait,
Carolyn
wait.
smile.
I know, right? Like it's 8 o'clock and I'm done. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
And it's not debatable. We'll take a roll call on that. Carolyn,
Aye.
MJ,
aye.
Eloise,
Aye.
Tim, aye.